By profession, I am a dancer and a choreographer. Okay, you are happy. Can you guarantee that this happiness will stay all through?
When you're angry, you start breathing faster.
Correct.
So what basically it says that just keep doing, be steadfast in what you're doing.
Correct.
Be detached from the outcome,
Correct.
failure or success.
So basically, through yoga, the mind which is swinging between the past and the future, you bring the mind in the present. And then if you see, your emotions are directly linked with your breathing.
That's true.
Okay, you get angry, there's a different types of breathing. When you get sad, there's a different types of breathing, right?
Like he said, practice, practice. So it's a little tough, and for the first time I realized breathing could also be difficult.
When stress happens, two things we do in our life. Either we become violent to ourselves or we become violent to the environment.
Namaskar, Mabuhai. So I'm Aparna, back with Soul Yatra Unfolds. And as promised, we again get you someone very interesting to hear and listen to, somebody very distinguished from their field of work. I have an exciting guest today, and I will let the guest give the introduction, but certainly I would like to introduce the name. So his name is Mr. Tarique Khan, who is an international art of living teacher, and he's here with us today. So let me just first welcome him. Thank you, Tarique ji, for accepting this invite. And we would love the audience to hear from you about yourself.
So, as you said, my name is Tarique Khan and I'm an international art of living teacher. My journey began in the world of spirituality some 26 years back. And by profession, I'm a dancer and a choreographer. So, in that time, like this is something around 26 years back, I used to dance and perform. And you know, in the glamour industry, there are so much
So was it in Bollywood?
Yeah. It's properly in Bollywood. So you know, in this glamour industry, in the performing industry, there are so much of competitions, and then we meet up with expectations and all that, cutthroat competitions and all that. So that was creating a lot of stress in my life. And then what happened is, my boss, he told me, Tarique, there will be a lot of stress in this kind of work which you are doing. So I said, what are the options I have? He said, there's a course is happening. It's called Happiness Program.
So who was this boss?
Oh, so
you know, I'm curious.
Yeah.
A boss asking a Bollywood dancer,
Correct,
to go for something which is not very
correct,
common, right?
Correct. Because he was also into the spirituality.
I see. Okay.
So, and then we, in India, we call it like Guru Bhai, like people are the same.
Yeah.
So he was also in the same, we had the same guru, same spiritual master. So he said, Tarique, there is a course is happening. It's called a happiness program. So if you can join that, it will be very helpful. So I said, what does it do? He said, just you need to breathe and be happy. And then I was like curious. I was okay, what the hell breathing has to do with me and my happiness?
Right.
I am already happy. Like, okay, like my career is there and performing and doing everything. So what has to do with this? So he said just one thing which I remember. He said like, okay, you are happy. Can you guarantee that this happiness will stay all through?
That's a very important question, right?
Yeah. So because generally what happens is our happiness, it's very relative. You can say we think that, oh, if I achieve this, I'll be very
It's
happy.
relative to the moment.
Correct.
And very material.
Correct. And then if you achieve that, so there's no guarantee that you'll stay happy. So it keeps on.
Totally agree.
Just like you put a carrot in front and then you keep on running after the carrot and thinking that you will get that carrot, but it never. So it's like same thing, like रात भर बिस्तर लगाया and then जब सोने का वक्त आया तो it's morning. Morning time, you have to go back work. So and this is what I liked. I said, okay,
and it was called Happiness Program.
Yes,
right?
yeah. And then the happiness, like happiness and that too program.
Correct.
So the curiosity was like, okay, let me go and explore. And I think on the world of this is my own personal belief, is in the world of spirituality, Okay, you just need to jump.
You don't need to think too much. Oh,
No.
what will the outcome? What will I
Correct.
get out of it?
And how
Yeah.
much you can think, how much you can satisfy your logical mind. How much?
Correct.
So there has to be a saturation point. Okay. Because what happens is when the logical mind stops, the spirituality journey begins from there.
You know, Tariq ji, this so resonates with an episode I did where we spoke about this thing from Gita,
Okay.
where Krishna says detachment from the outcome
Okay.
of success or failure
Mhm.
is what takes you to the state of equanimity.
Correct.
And that's exactly what you're saying.
Correct. So it says, I think, I don't, if I'm mistaken, excuse me for my Sanskrit, Samatiyam Uttache means maintain.
So this is from chapter 2, verse number 48, where Krishna tells Arjun, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjay siddhya asiddhyoho. Siddhya asiddhyo means you achieve or you fail. Siddhi
Correct.
hona ya asiddhi hona.
Correct.
Samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate.
Correct.
So what basically it says that just keep doing, be steadfast in what you are doing.
Correct.
Be detached from the outcome,
Correct.
failure or success. This is the highest outcome of yoga. This is where you are in a state of yogi, which is you are aligned, your consciousness is aligned with the universal consciousness.
Correct. So basically what is happening, this is what Patanjali Yoga Sutra, his first sutra says, Yogas Chitvrit Nirodha. So which means like through yoga, I can go to such an extent that you can bring the mind in the present.
Chitta vritti nirodha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically through yoga, the mind which is swinging between the past and the future, you bring the mind in the present because you have to live in the present. And then, and as Lord Krishna, he says, maintaining your centeredness in the opposites.
Correct. Correct.
So that is where the yoga comes into scene. And then if you see, Lord Krishna, he's saying this to Arjuna, where he's seeing this in the
war.
the war.
War field.
And if you see, it's Bhagavad Gita. Gita is it means it's a song. Just imagine in the middle of the war, the song is being happening.
It's so beautiful, right? I mean, can you imagine a music being played in midst of a war field?
Correct. So, and this is what our like spirituality is all about. So maintaining your centeredness in the opposites.
I just learned something so beautiful from you about music in war field. I think I'm going to quote this into many places because nobody would think about it. But look what this
Correct.
is the reality which took place years
And
ago.
if you see, there's always a Mahabharata is happening in our life. It's here. The Mahabharata is here, if you see. And then how do you handle the mind? How do you handle the mind? Okay, because if you see in the context of the mind, if you say your mind not to think of something, it will think.
You're very right. Yeah.
Suppose, like for example, if you say, okay, suppose if I say, okay, don't think of, you can think of anything, but do not think of a monkey. So you land up thinking of the monkey, but you had a choice not to think of that, right? So what happens in the mind? Whatever you resist, okay, it persists. It exactly the same thing happens in our life also.
So you say whatever resists, it
It
persists.
persists.
Very interesting.
And then based on this principle, nowadays what we call it the law of attraction. So basically, our spirituality goes to way beyond. We have already decoded it long back. So what people are understanding this, the law of attraction. So basically, whatever you resist will persist. Whatever you focus on in your life, that will grow, that will manifest. It's simple as that. Same thing, like if you focus on happiness, happiness will grow. You will attract more happiness.
So now, what I think our audience will really be curious to know, how do we relate happiness with breathing?
Okay, so tell me, what is the first act you did when you were born? What was the first act you did when you were
I
born?
think you would breathe, then the crying comes later.
Correct. So, and what is the last act you will do when you die?
Breathe.
Breathe out, and hopefully some other people will cry, right?
Yeah.
So between breathe in and breathe out, this whole journey is called life. So in this whole journey of life, we do everything about ourselves, right? In fact, just imagine we do so much things for our body. We go to the gym, eat the best of the food, wear the best of the clothes, take care of ourselves. That's what you can see, right? If some days there's any disease or something like that, you go to a doctor, right? You go to a doctor, the doctor will diagnose him, will ask you, and then according to that, they will give you medicines. But what about something which is unseen, something which is running over here?
I don't
Okay.
think we would have. I mean, we think about it usually, right?
We think, but okay, do we do anything?
Yeah. So what I meant was we don't really think of what to do with the breathing factor.
I'll come
right?
back.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. Suppose, see, like how many people over here we have. We have how many fingers you have? Okay,
10.
10. Okay, and everybody has a 10 fingers, right? Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know how to play any instrument? Okay.
But I'm familiar. How do you use
The
like
piano
I
and
would
so on.
try harmonium when I was very
Correct.
small.
Correct. Okay. So this harmonium. Suppose you know how to play harmonium, right?
At least I
you
know
practice.
saregama.
Correct. Done. How many people over here knows in this hall? Okay, in this interview, how many people know how to play that harmonium?
Yeah. Very very.
You see now? So I'll just give the example. Everybody has 10 fingers, but only one person, you, knows how to play the harmonium, right? Everybody has a mind, but do we know any technique? Do we know any ways how to handle the mind? And if you see, our breath is the link between the body and the mind. Okay, I'll tell you why. Suppose if you get angry, something happens, right? So if you get angry, okay, and then what happened out of anger? What do? You action reaction.
Yeah. And you're reminding me of something. When you're angry, you start breathing faster, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you cannot tell your mind, okay, I am angry, okay, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, you cannot, right? But because on the context of the mind, it has to be on a very subtle way. It has to be on a very nicer way. You need to calm the mind, right? And then if you see, your emotions are directly linked with your breathing.
That's true.
Okay, you get angry, there's a different types of breathing. When you get sad, there's a different types of breathing, right? So now, if I tell you, okay, can you handle your emotions? Not possible. But at least can you handle your breath? You
Correct.
can.
You can.
You
You're so
can. It's in
right,
your
yeah.
hand, right? You can. So by addressing your breath, you bring your mind, which is swinging between the past and the future, to come to the present. Because life is in the present. You have to work now.
Yeah, because I think I'm able to relate to you now. Either we live in the happiness or misery of the past.
Correct.
Like either I'm living in a glory of past, or I'm upset about past, or I'm running crazy about future. That I have to do this, I have to do that. I mean,
Correct.
they are important, but I think the balancing factor is your stable present.
Correct.
right?
I'm not saying that you don't think about your future. No, you think, but continuously indulging in
Yeah.
your thought. Okay, what will happen to me? What will happen? All the anxiety. Okay, this is my own personal belief. All your anxiety, all your anxious, okay, nervousness, fears, all these emotions are accompanied by your future, things which is related for the future.
This is so helpful. So now you said how long you've been teaching about trainer? How long you've been a trainer?
Basically, I have been training for the last 14 years.
That's a
as
long time, and
yeah.
Not training books, but training breathing. Right?
Correct.
That's really
So basically, I always start with this, like, I used to teach people how to move their body and be happy. Now I teach people how to breathe and be happy.
Wow. So now I know you're here in Manila, Philippines, but you came from Mumbai. A little bit about your journey into outside India,
Correct.
and then how you came
So
here.
basically, what happened is, when I first became an auto-learning teacher, and then this was some in 2010 when I became a teacher. So immediately I was sent to. In that time, things were not very stable. Okay, so I was sent to Kashmir.
Oh, okay.
So over there, I used to work with the youth, especially in colleges and in universities, how to handle their emotions, how to handle the mind.
Wow, that's interesting. And just for our audience benefit, so Kashmir is a part of India which for many years underwent some terrible challenges of, I would say, adverse youth state of mind because of political situation there. I'm not going to get into more details, but those were the days when Kashmir wasn't a place where we would even visit. People would not even want to go, though it is one of the most beautiful part of the country.
Correct.
And it went its through, and originally people from Kashmir are supposed to be very loving, beautiful, nice set of people, but there were external influences which led to some not so great activities happening, and that's what Mr. Tariq is explaining us about.
Correct. So then what happened is, because of certain influences and everything, so the mind was getting influenced. So then I was sent over there. Of course, I was sent by my organizations to at least go and then work, okay, work on the minds of the youth, so that they
They
whatever
calm
they calm
down.
down, and whatever decisions they take it with intelligently,
Yeah, it's
not
not
with
by
emotions.
emotions. Yeah.
Okay, because generally what happens is, if you make any decision out of emotions, okay, you react. But if
You're
you
not
if
responding, you're just
correct,
reacting.
but when you are responding, that means your mind is settled, it's calmer.
Right.
And once your mind is calmer, you respond to the situation.
So what was your success rate there? I mean, how would you rate it? Like,
Oh, well, it was good. So I stayed there for at least, I think, was there for 1.5 years. And then a lot of courses used to happen. And then, so after that, then I went to Iraq. So this was the time there
so right
was,
from Kashmir, you go to Iraq.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
very interesting.
So I'll tell you,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the timeline. So I went to the Iraq, and then also the same thing. The situation was, if you see all the newspapers that time,
Yeah.
Iraq was not in a good state. So we used to work. We rehabilitated so many uh, people, so many girls. Okay, so I just remember at one point of time in my workshops, there was this girl. So she was so restless, and she could not sleep. So, and then what happened is, the doctor has to give her like a injections, like a
To make her
tranquilizer,
sleep.
yeah, to calm down her mind,
Okay.
because so much of trauma had happened in her
She was
life.
affected by all the trauma.
So much, so much, so much, so much. So she could not. But the first time when she experienced Sudarshan Kriya, the first time when she experienced the breathing exercise, so she was sleeping like a baby.
Really?
So I was there, like on and off. I was there for 5 years.
5 years,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is a
yeah.
long time.
Yeah, yeah. On and off, I was there for 5 years. We worked in different refugee camps, different universities, different NGOs, and all that. Now we have around 27 peace ambassadors. Like, we call them peace ambassadors, means they are the art of
And
living
are they
teacher.
locals?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's amazing, right?
They are locals. They are locals. And then just imagine, one of my student, I still remember, it's so fresh. One of my student, you just imagine, you see your parents being killed, and you cannot
Yeah.
do anything about it. So this boy was just hiding himself, and then he saw his
Very
parents.
traumatic, right?
Very, very, very. And then when he started doing all this breathing exercises and everything, so he was on this state like, okay, why me, why me, why me? He was always questioning, like, okay, generally what happens in our
Yeah.
life, whenever there is an adverse situation, you always blame it to God, right?
Correct.
Why me,
Always.
why me, why
I
me?
totally agree.
Yeah. But spirituality, what does it say? Try me.
That's amazing. Try me.
That's
Yeah.
very empowering, right?
Correct.
So this guy, instead of blaming, okay, this is like that, this is like that, this is like that. Now, when I became a teacher, so now this boy is a teacher. So now I became, what I can contribute to the society, how I can bring peace.
So his perspective completely changed from feeling victimized
Correct.
or blaming. Now he
Correct.
wants to help people.
Now he's an amazing photographer by profession.
Really?
Yeah. So he's a photographer, and also he's an auditing teacher.
And this is all by breathing
Correct,
exercises,
that's it.
right? This is phenomenal.
It's you know, if your mind is stress free, okay, your body becomes disease free.
Very well
I will
said.
explain
Yeah.
in a detail, because when your mind is stress free, your body is disease free, then the society becomes violence free.
You're right. Because each one contributes to the society.
Correct. Because what happens is, if the mind is stress free, if you're happy and content and settling, like you are content from inside, your mind is in a calm state, okay, you cannot just go on like doing nonsense to the people around
Correct.
you.
Correct.
Right.
You would take more measured actions and not be
Correct.
reactive.
Correct.
Simple. Yeah.
So when stress happens, two things we do in our life. Either we become violent to ourselves or we become violent to the environment. So violent to
Yeah.
ourselves is called suicidal tendency. Violent to environment is called violence.
Correct.
Okay, so but the thing is that if we know how to handle the mind, if we know any technique how to handle the mind, so what happens when you start working on Sudarshan Kriya, when you start practicing it? Ek tattva abhyas, that's Patanjali said. Ek tattva abhyas, sato dirghakala nirantara satkara sevato dridabhumi. So when you keep on practicing same thing again and again, again and with honor and respect, you nothing can shake you. Nothing can shake you. So that is Ek Tattva. When you keep on practicing, your mind becomes so much in the present moment.
And you know, I'm suddenly so relating to you because I want to let everyone know that the way I met him was that we had a common friend and they were organizing this happiness program. And I had been curious about it. So I recently joined. And I mean, I loved it. It was a 4-day program. I did it. And so Sudarshan Kriya is the name of the program, the happiness program. And it has got to do with breathing. And one thing I've got out of that breathing is that it helps you release a lot of toxins out of your body. And I'm feeling it. Like I'm doing it for this I think today is the 10th day of the practice. I mean, I'm not unfamiliar with it. I have been doing these practices for many years, but this was a new technique I learned. And what I'm realizing, this is throwing a lot of negativity out of you. It's the process is that you're just releasing, you keep releasing. And I think, like he said, practice. So it's a little tough. And for the first time I realized breathing could also be difficult. You know. So but I'm so enjoying it every day and I'm doing it. So yeah, I just thought I'll share this, that how I met him and what does he mean by saying that how breathing can
Correct.
release a lot of unwanted
It's
state
okay
of
for the
things of
first
your mind.
for the first 1 or 2 days, because you're not used to that kind of yogic breathing. Okay, it will be like, it's like going to the gym. You want to have a six-pack ab, you go to the gym,
Correct.
right? So first day there will be a muscle pain here and there. That does not mean that you leave going to the gym.
I relate to you because the third day I was like, I don't want to do the 20 times. Can I just do it 10 times? But then you have to keep the resilience
Correct,
has to be
correct,
there.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. Because then your gym instructor tells you, no, you finished that
Correct.
till the end.
Yeah.
Okay, so same thing happens in the yoga practice also. Okay, there's a technique, you keep practicing it again and again and again and again and again. Then it becomes, it's like you are a farmer. Okay, there's a land. Okay, you sow the seed. Okay, but every day you need to nurture it. Every day you need to put water. And then
Correct.
one fine day, it will sprout.
Yeah.
And then when it sprout, okay, it will grow in a big tree and it will lay fruits. You, that fruit, you don't keep it to yourself.
Then you share.
Share with it others. And that's how we make our world a better place to live, a happiest place to live.
So coming to your making the world a better place. So you went to Kashmir, then you went to
Iraq, and then I went to Egypt, and then I went to Morocco. Morocco, I was there again for 5 years, on and off, because like you don't get that much long visas and all that. So I was there, and then I was working with those female who has been domestically abused.
Okay. Women who have been domestically
Correct.
abused. Yeah.
So much of trauma, so much of aggression.
And women generally are emotional, so it's
Correct.
worse for them.
Yeah. So basically, most of the men, they make mistakes over
Correct.
here. Is like they crush the female emotions.
Correct. There's no one to listen to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So generally, what happens is, if you is in a relationship, what happens if this goes to the men? So you respect a female emotions. Female, you pamper the man's ego.
I agree with you.
Because the thing is that if a man comes like from his day's work and everything, he comes. Remember, in a relationship, not all battle can be won.
Correct.
Okay, so harmony रखना है तो हारना सीखो.
Very well said.
Okay. Or there was one.
So if you want to win, learn to lose.
Correct.
If you want peace, learn to lose.
Generally, in argument, what happens? This is what happens now when you start working on your breath and everything. You start thinking in a clarity. So when there's an argument happening, your motto is what? You want to win the argument, or you want to win the person?
That's interesting.
That's a question you need to ask. If you want to win, if you want to win the argument, you will lose the person.
True.
But if you want to win the person, it might happen that you might have to lose the argument for a short time.
So can I relate it to what you're saying? That by control of your mind through breathing, you
Just
can
we just put like that, just rephrase it. Not controlling the mind.
Okay.
You should start handling the mind.
Okay.
By handling our mind, first we should know how to handle our mind. Once we know how to handle our mind, it's easy to handle things around
And
us.
that handling of mind will come by your breathing.
Breathing. It's for me, this is what I think. That's the only way I can relate.
And I think breathings are also different techniques, right? You have.
Okay, I'll tell you. Like we speak about the mind, right? We speak about the mind swinging between the past, the future, right? Now tell me, can you breathe for the past?
Certainly not.
Can you breathe for the future?
Absolutely
So
not.
why are you breathing?
For the present, yeah.
You're breathing in the present. So once you start focusing on your breath, the mind, the monkey mind, which is swinging, okay, it comes to the
We
present
call it
moment.
the ship, the mind, the monkey.
Okay, I call it the monkey mind.
Yeah. That's
So we bring the mind in the present. So let's coming back to the journey. So Morocco, I was there working.
so starting from Kashmir with youth who didn't know their direction, then to Iraq where
Correct.
you had extreme situations.
Correct.
Of violence, and then coming to Morocco where you had
In
domestic
between,
abuse. So different scenarios, right?
yeah. But between Iraq and Morocco, there was Egypt.
Oh yeah, I missed that. Yeah. So what did you do in Egypt?
So Egypt, I was working with different, like bringing different NGOs and everything.
Okay, so
Simple, like
okay,
courses
so
we
it
used to.
get NGOs and
Correct.
help any kind of people who need
Correct.
Okay.
So that is what. And then this is my 5th visit to Philippines.
Okay.
Because, and this is my longest stay over here. So my whole idea is to bring waves of happiness all across Philippines.
Yes, because Philippines is my second home, after India.
Correct. And then I said we between India and Philippines we share a very strong relations.
I totally agree.
Strong relations. So and then you go anywhere in the whole world, the issues with the mind remain same. Stress.
So in the Philippines,
Correct.
which particular audience or what kind of special set of people are you working to help on, or is it just
No. I work with everyone. So generally, if you can breathe, you can come for the course. That's it.
Okay. So
That's it.
It is open.
So there are courses for small children. There are courses for the students, because each set of groups or each set of communities or each sections has a different issues. Okay, like for students, okay, the issues are different.
Correct.
Okay, relationship, clarity of mind, concentrations, all this,
Future, career,
all
etc.
this thing, peer pressures, love, and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, for working people, so the issues are different.
Correct.
Okay, what will happen to me in the future? What will happen to my family, my career? Okay, job securities, all this thing. There are other people, like I have worked with the prisons also.
Prisons.
Yeah. I have worked with the prisons. So in different places, like in Kashmir, I worked with the prison over here also.
In Philippines as well.
Yeah.
So how do they? Sorry, I'm just curious to know. I really want to know a little more. I'm sure the audience will also love to hear your experience with prison, because you have. I'm sure that very different type of people for different reasons who are there. How do they receive it? And how,
okay. I find them very innocent.
Really?
Correct. It is, what I feel is they are generally nice people. It is because the certain situations,
They acted on a certain impulse.
they took some harsh decisions, they took some impulsive decision which led them. So as Gurudev, as Shri Shri Ravi Shankar, we call them Gurudev, he always says, behind every culprit there is a victim crying for help. So if we address to that, okay, rather than focusing on that person, you focus on what is the problem. If we just handle their mind, okay, the world would be a better place.
Have you seen, like, since your experiences for spans across so many years,
Yeah, in so many different countries.
yeah, sustenance of change? So what I'm trying to say, that there was somebody who had an extreme set of mind
Correct.
and then worked with you, but were they able to sustain that change and
Yeah,
did
yeah,
not
yeah.
go back? Because that's important,
Yes,
right?
yes. Like suppose I gave you this example, right? This one, my students who saw his parents being
Yeah.
like killed. So rather than there was an option, right? So either he would have picked up weapon and start taking revenge, or the other word, okay, work on himself, okay, and spread that love, peace, and harmony all across, so that other children, other youth don't pick up weapons.
Right. True, true.
So
Very
this is something, but that can only happen if the mind is relaxed, and that can only happen with the help of your breathing. The whole idea is you just breathe and be happy. That's the only thing, because once you're happy, your cortisol hormone, the stress hormone, goes down.
true.
And this is what I have seen in all the walks of life, whether they are students or corporate or in prisons or anywhere. Okay, of course, the level of cortisol hormone, the stress
Will be
hormones,
different.
different. But once you reduce it down, okay, they are just happy being.
So I have another question. Like, one of the big problem nowadays is I don't have time. I know we also have to prioritize, but at the same time there are sometimes time factors. So when you say breathing, could we have breathing exercises where I know there are certain norms we have to do, but would it be possible you're sitting in your office chair and you could breathe and at least do that?
Anyway, okay, the thing is that you know something, that breathing, I told you the first act of life, what we did, we breathe, right? So the breathing was there inside us, but we hardly used to pay attention. Now, what happens with a rhythmic, with a certain type of yogic breathing, you can do it anywhere. Just 25 minutes, 30 minutes of breathing exercises, it flushes out all of your toxins. 90% of your body toxins can be released through breath.
Correct, correct. Yeah.
90%, but we only use 30% of the lung capacity. 70% is unused.
Unused.
So now what happens is when you start focusing on some yogic breathing, Sudarshan Kriya and all this thing, you start making full 100%. Different workshops, we
Okay.
have, if we keep doing different workshops, we like to travel, we like to travel different places. So we do have.
Another question I have is, how does it influence your sleep? Like, that's the biggest problem nowadays. Insomnia, I can't get sleep. Yeah.
Okay, generally, I'll tell you, what is the idea of sleep? Tell me, why do you sleep?
Rest, to get a break, right?
To get rest, to rejuvenate yourself,
Correct.
to get ready for the next day, right? Now tell me honestly, when you sleep, do you really get rest?
Yeah, you don't. I agree with that. You may be sleeping.
It is just the
yeah,
body is lying
it's
on that
sleeping.
bed, and then there are
Your
10
mind
million
is
thoughts.
still working. Well,
10 million thoughts are ready. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do this next day, job, this, blah, 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 blah. So many things are happening. So, are you really resting? So, now what happens when you're meditating? Okay, if you just meditate for 15, 20 minutes, that is equivalent to 4 hours of your sleep. That means the amount of rest you get in 4 hours, that is equivalent to 30 minutes of your meditation.
So 30 minutes of meditation is equal to 4 hours of sleep.
Correct.
Wow. That's amazing.
There's been a time when you travel like different time zones. Okay, when you start traveling, because I travel also so much, and then things like that. So I hardly get, okay, sleep pattern gets disturbed. So just 30 minutes of meditation I do, it brings me, it refresh me.
And could you do that before sleep or something like that? Like,
There is, I'll tell you what, the only thing is that, okay, your attention, your intention is to invest it on your mind. The rest of things will start following. Our whole intention should be to bring ourselves into the health aspect. Now, once we say health, health for me, it's like not only the physical health, okay, mental and physical.
Correct.
That is the holistic approach. Okay, for the physical health, okay, I can take, if something is wrong, again, I'll go back. I can take medicines and everything. But what about the mental health? That can only be achieved through breathing, through meditations. That can only happen. This is my belief.
I'm sure it's
Because
not just belief, you have experienced
I
it,
have
right?
experienced, because coming from the glamour industry where there is the so much of
Pressure
demands,
is too high.
pressures, too much of demands, and so much of targets, competitions, and then also for nights and nights you have to stay awake.
Yeah.
So rather than taking external stimulators like alcohols or cigarettes and all this, you just take couple of breathings. That's it. You're energized.
I want the youth today to hear that you don't need alcohol and cigarettes or external, help, right? Stimulants, external stimulants.
External stimulators. So when you have internal stimulators inside you,
True.
so
And those internal stimulators can be released through your breathing, right?
just imagine why I should spend my hard-earned money, okay, on something which stays with me only for few moments. Few moments will give me a sense of happiness. Few moments will give me a sense of content. Where I can use my internal stimulators, my breathing, my meditation, which will help me to stay in that state for a very longer time. And that is only one time investment, right? Every time, I don't have to go like spend money on alcohols, or say, you can say alcohols or cigarettes or anything. Here I just sit, I roll down my yoga mat, I sit, do couple of breathing, do my meditation. I'm ready for the day, I'm ready for my life, I'm ready for my challenge.
Tariq ji, I think what I love talking to you is I can't believe right now what I'm hearing is you brought breathe now into economic world, right? So I have been talking about breathing, yoga, how this helps, but I think it's so important for our youth to know and hear from you. You're talking about an ROI, an investment plan, where you're saying why to go and spend on an alcohol or any external stimulant which is also not going to last long. It's pure economics, right? It's so why I would rather buy one time yoga mat
That is free.
and learn,
Correct.
and then after that I would never have to get
You,
that.
you know what I have been noticing in Philippines? Suddenly, there is a lot people are getting aware of investing on mental health.
I agree with
There is a
that,
certain change is happening over here.
which is I think is a positive change for the
Correct.
society.
I totally agree with you. And this change is happening. People wants to to have that peace of mind, rather than having a pieces of mind.
Pieces of, that's well said. Yeah, that's well said.
And then a lot of corporates now, okay, are approaching, and a lot of corporates are investing on their employees' health, on the employees' wellness program, bringing meditation into a boardroom.
No, I totally agree with that. I work for a corporate organization.
Correct.
And I'm very happy to be part of that organization. We have a significant investment, right from the topmost leadership till we have, levels of, we call them yogis or coaches who are helping, employees at every level.
Correct.
So I totally agree with that. And we certainly need people like you who can help us. And, in this modern day-to-day world, which is only getting more competitive,
Correct.
and full of unwanted attractions, I would say.
Correct. And I think like in Philippines, we have so many, we have art of living, and then we have a lot of yoga teachers
Oh, yes.
and life coaches and everything. They are there. All we need to do is just
Maybe like the way that one of my reasons to get this channel was to bring out some of the logic, some of the science behind this.
Correct.
Because normally people would want to know why would I breathe and why would I feel like this. So once the moment you know that your conviction is so high, then you're willing to do it.
Correct.
And that's the objective.
And then I'll tell you what, because in the past, somewhere back, you were saying, okay, people saying, oh, I don't have time.
Yeah.
Right. If you cannot invest time now, seriously, there will be no time left for you.
Very well said. Yeah.
All the reason of not doing your meditation is double the reason of doing the meditation.
Great caption. Great caption. So, listening to all this, my next question is that we have different age groups.
Correct.
So, we have small children.
Correct.
Then we have the youth who are, I think, more busy than the corporates now because of the study pressure, because of the activities they have to do. And then in the adult space, we also have people between two, one who are pretty old.
Mhm.
Most of them have maintenance medicines
Correct,
nowadays.
correct.
And one who are not really old, but they are on the boundary of that and they are too busy. Some might be having some, preventive measure or chronic ailments. They're carrying hypertension,
Correct,
sugar.
correct.
So, how would this work? Are there different ways? How do you
Correct.
handle these different stages and
Okay.
different groups of people?
Okay, so in Art of Living, we have like different age group, they have different issues. So also we have different courses. Like for small children, so because they are so energetic, and then there's a very scientific reason why they are so energetic. Because a small child uses 85% of the lung capacity. So that's how so much of energy, so much of
I
enthusiasm.
can share something on that. So, I don't know if you've heard that our human body's got 5 layers.
Correct.
From the gross to subtle.
Correct.
So, the outermost layer is the Annamay Kosh, the
Panchkosha.
physical body.
Yeah.
The next one, which is the Pranamay Kosh,
Kosh.
the energy body.
Correct.
That's it unleashes maximum from the age of 5 to 10. From 5 to 10.
Correct. So because what happened is if we can, and then they are like so restless, always moving,
Correct,
jumping here
correct.
and there. So if we know a way, so there's a course called Art Excel and Yes course. So in that, what happens? You just channelize that energy.
Okay, you don't give them too much. You
just channelize them energy. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
So you change the energy into a more constructive and things like. Whereas the students, okay, again I go back and tell you, they are always like study, always on a running around, becoming a successful person. I'm saying don't, but something, our system has become in such a way that we only want to invest on domain expertise. Domain expertise means like suppose if you want to become a doctor, you should know where the kidney or the lungs and all, knowing about your subject, right? There are, but on the professional field, this is all I have seen working with different students all across the world. This is what I have seen. There are two things which we call like something which is called domain expertise, knowing about your subject, and something which is called soft skills. Soft skills are things like clarity of mind, concentration, confidence, handling your mind, handling your emotion, interpersonal relationship. How in the stressful situation, still I can keep my mind in peace and come up with a quick decision, intelligent decision. These are the things which is
and I think
called
this
soft
will be
skills.
the most important for youth, right?
Correct. So just imagine like a graduate person invests like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years on getting that degree or diploma. In 5 minutes, he has to convince an interviewer sitting on the opposite side of a table why that company should hire him or her. Because that degree or diploma, that professional certificates, everybody will be having it, right? But what is the extra qualities you have?
And you're saying that breathing would really help him do that?
That's soft skill, right? That is a
Amazing.
soft skill,
Yeah.
right? So instead of, I'm not saying don't study, you study, but also at the same time, you have to invest on soft skills, because what happens, then it's the whole, what you call holistic approach.
Yeah.
Once you sit on that, once you sit on the interview, okay, so you know how to handle the situation.
And even after the interview, when you get into work life,
Correct.
no crisis, you have
I have
these
seen
situations at work.
I have seen in corporates also. So there was a time, one of my friend, okay, she was into HR and she was interviewing a lot of people, and then she interviewed around like 50 people. Okay, out of 50 people, like all like big, like 98%, 99%, all like top. So from the 50 people, she had to reject 40 of them.
Must be tough, right?
No clarity, okay,
How do
no
you choose
concentration,
that? Yeah, how do you choose?
no team building, okay, no sense of handling the mind, stressful mind. So what what the company will do with those people.
Correct. How, I mean, you're not laying the strong foundation, right? On the
Correct.
human resource, what you're
So now
looking
what
for.
is happening is now the whole perspective of things are changing. Now, all the corporate are investing on the employees' wellness, because if they can handle the mind, the productivity will increase.
Correct. I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah.
Right.
When you're anxious, your output is of no good.
And then he always says, okay, I keep my personal life and my professional life separate.
I don't.
It does
Yeah,
not work.
I totally agree with you. I've seen in my own professional life,
It doesn't
you
work.
carry as much, you carry from home as much as you don't want
So
to.
yeah,
but
suppose your
back of the
wife,
mind it
suppose your wife or husband fights in your house, you
Yeah.
you carry that in your workplace.
Yeah, no, this is something I'm sure this is going to be very helpful, very new perspective and dimension. Now, coming to, I'm more curious to know now about this breathing thing. How is it going to work with people who have got existing, if they're carrying any existing situation,
But the thing is
medical
that
condition?
the Sudarshan Kriya or the happiness program does not tell you stop your medicines.
Okay, that's
It
good.
does not. It does not. It does not. Okay. You do whatever your doctors have prescribed you, any medicines or things like that. You do that. You take it. But along with that, one has to do a meditation. One has to do some
So
yogic
it's
practice.
parallel.
Parallel.
And then have you seen results that gradually the maintenance medicines go down?
Correct. There are a lot of stories. There are a lot of stories. Like, okay, I'll tell you one of my friend. Like, she was domestically abused. Okay, and then that impression she was carrying it for very long time, very long time. And then what happened? In order to get rid of that, she has to take some medicine, antidepressants, and all this thing, which was not helping her in the professional life. But when she started doing that, meditations and Sudarshan Kriyas and all that, so of course the level of medicines was reduced, but she continued that. Now she's out of that medication.
And how long did it approximately take this?
It took something around, say, 3-4 months.
So we also need to be patient, right? Things don't
It's
happen
like, yeah, yeah.
overnight. Yeah.
It's like you don't
Like,
have this magic wand
yeah,
and then
because
you do
you know
something
why
and
I'm
it comes
saying,
up.
because in today's world, there's so much of this need of quick results, which I don't think really does good for us.
On the yoga practice, again, I'm coming back to Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the first sutra. Okay, like you do not the first sutras, you say, how should be the your practice? Ek tattva abhyas. You do it, whatever you do it every day, every day, every day, every day. Then the results will happen.
Yeah, I mean, the age old saying, practice makes a man perfect, right?
Correct.
That's what it's saying.
Also, the woman's perfect.
Of course, yeah.
So the thing is that what I feel is, especially the housewives and especially the women, they should do more of meditation, because the thing is that they are handling so many multi things together.
There are times they are corporate women as well, plus they are
Correct.
taking care of the
And
house.
I feel also they are born meditators.
Really?
Yes. Just imagine a woman who is pregnant. Okay, she's already in that meditative state.
Wow.
She is already in the meditative states.
Yeah,
So
that's
more
amazing.
about that we will
We'll
talk on the
absolutely. I'm now curious about that.
yeah.
Pregnant women
Yeah.
in meditative state will be
Correct.
another episode with us.
So that's what it is. And then because what I feel is that women, like, they are the future. They are the builders for the nations.
They nurture a home. So
They nurture the nation. They can have the strength to
Yeah.
nurture the nation,
Wow, that's very powerful.
because they are nurturing the kids. They're nurturing the
Yeah,
youth.
they're nurturing
So indirectly,
life. They're nurturing life, right? So
yeah, they're giving life.
correct. I totally agree. But that's very well said, that women nurture nation, and hence this investment for women will be really helpful.
Yeah.
This was so insightful, Tarique ji. I mean, every
Thank
moment
you.
was a pleasure. Anything for our viewers to end this episode? Yeah.
I'll just all tells you, like, living in a favorable situation is called part of living. Anybody can do it. Nothing great about it. But living in an unfavorable situation with unshakable smile on your face when things around you keep on falling apart, that is called art of living. It's an art to live the life.
Wow, that was very powerful. The art of living. So I hope you enjoyed this session. as much as I enjoyed talking to Mr. Tarique Khan. And we'll definitely come back to you again with another interesting episode. But as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and ring the notification bell. Thank you.
Thank you.